SoundHound was up 18% last week. It's up 35% in the last month and 38% in the last 12 weeks. So SoundHound AI stock is looking bullish right now. It is moving up to challenge that level of $18, and it could be setting up for a trade between that level and a possible target of $25, which gives you an upside almost 50%. So in this video, I'm going to conduct a price analysis for SoundHound and talk about some entry rules for this trending stock. Let's take a look. Now, if you find value in my analysis of SoundHound AI stock today or other stocks on my channel, you may also find value in my email newsletter. If you subscribe, I'll share with you professional trading tips to help you make more profits trading stocks. Link down below, check it out. So SoundHound was up 18% last week. A very bullish week last week. Price opening around about $13.60 and closing on the Friday at $15.65 with a price peak last week of over $17. So a very bullish week for SoundHound. And of course, this bullish week last week was off the back of positive earnings for Q2, which SoundHound reported 2 weeks ago. And you can see here during the week of the earnings report, price moved in that week from around about 10.30 and closed about 13.51. So a really bullish week for SoundHound during reporting. And the buying continued last week. So more buyers coming in to buy up this stock after it posted positive earnings. So right now it does look as if on the weekly chart that this stock is moving towards this level here of $18.20. And then after that possible level of resistance, it then will be looking at moving up towards $25, which is the current all-time high. Over on the daily chart, we can see the price action in and around earnings. So you can see here during Thursday, the 7th of August and the 6th, how price was trending down slightly, just having a little breather before overnight the price jumped from the close of 10.70, and then the following day you can see here it opened very, very high at $13. So big gap moving up here based on the positive earnings report. And since that time, since last week, you can see a bullish week for SoundHound on the Monday. Price moved up a bit further on the Tuesday and also peaked on the Wednesday around $17. And then it did just slow down on the Thursday before last Friday. There was a bit of selling pressure. So price opened at $16.56, ended up closing low at $15.61. So bullish week last week with a bit of selling pressure on the Friday. So there is a risk this week coming that there might be a bit more selling pressure, considering the last 2 weeks have been very bullish for SoundHound. So it is possible that it might be a bit of a pullback this week based on the bullish 2 weeks for this stock. Zooming out on the weekly chart for SoundHound, we can see right now that the stock is sitting around about 15.60. So it's above this level of resistance here, which corresponds to the peak after the breakout of the trend line, and it's underneath this level of potential resistance around $18.16. And you can see this possible level of resistance is corresponding to the price peak back here created in May 2022. So that level there might be a level of resistance to watch out for as this stock starts to move up. And if it can break through this level, then there's not much holding it back from moving up further towards the all-time high of $25. Other levels to note, you can see that SoundHound did find support around about $9 during the last 3 months. Seems to be some support here short term for the stock. And of course, this was the turning point for SoundHound during the first week of April, where stock was trended down. It was sold off from the all-time high, found support here at about $6.50. Big reversal bar, and this started the new uptrend from this point here. And now we're currently sitting at $15.56, the close last week. So a big move up from here up to here. Effectively the stock has doubled since the low down here in the first week of April. You can see over the medium term, this stock is trending up. I've got a trend line here supporting the price action as there has been consecutive higher highs and higher lows confirming the uptrend. There was a really big breakout here during November 2024. There was about 4 weeks up, really bullish price action, bit of a surge to create that peak here, $25, before it was sold off and came back to find support at $6.50. So this longer term trend is still intact. You can see at the moment, price is pulling away from this trend line. So there's always the risk over the longer term that price does come back to the longer term trend line to find support before moving off once again. Now that we have this significant price trough confirmed, as well as this pullback here and the trough created two weeks ago, we can go ahead and add a trend line to this stock just to confirm that at the moment we can see that it is trending away from the longer term trend. It is moving away, so there's a steeper angle moving up there with the price action. And we know from historical price action that here, when price did pull away, there was a big surge to create the peak up here. So it is possible that Soundhound may break out over the next 4 to 6 weeks if there's enough buying interest from traders and investors. And once again, the price could move up to the all-time high of $25. And then with such a big surge, more than likely it's going to be sold off and have a breather before making the next wave up. So potentially, if you're a trader, you could catch this next move up from $15 towards $25 over the short to medium term. So one potential trade opportunity is to use last week's price peak as your entry trigger. With these last 2 weeks being bullish, it is possible that next week we're going to see a red bar. Price is going to pull back with some sellers taking profits and the buyers just slowing down a bit. So that is possible next week. It might not happen, you might get another green bar, but it's possible we might get a pullback from this level here, and perhaps it'll pull back into around $14.50. Now if that happens, you can use that as a potential marker for your stop loss and then use the entry above last week's peak. So an entry at that peak, around about $17, then you could target the all-time high of 25, giving you a potential upside of around 46 to 47%. 15% stop loss, for example, would be a risk to reward of 3. But it all depends on if you get a red bar this week. For example, if the red bar this week comes down and perhaps the low is 14.55, you could use that as your stop loss. So then you've got that risk to reward of 3. But this trade setup is all dependent on what happens next week. If you don't get a red bar, it keeps going up. You may wait then a few weeks for that first red bar, for that pullback, to get that trough to move off that marker for your entry for the trade. Zooming out on the weekly chart for Soundhound, you can see that the way this stock moves, it does have potentially a 6-week surge before pulling back into the trend line here. You can see we've got these higher highs and higher lows as it's been trending up here. We've got this breakout here coming. It's surged up to create the all-time high before trending back down uniformly into this trough here. So it's trending up now. It has broken this level here following the trend line break of 1270. It's consolidated sideways. This price action here, it did test this level, got rejected. 2 weeks before earnings, there was a bit of selling pressure, and then earnings 2 weeks ago, it did take off, very bullish, broke that level here, and now last week, more buyers coming in. So potentially this move here from here could be up towards this target of $25. And that would correspond to this previous price action where you've got this section here of a steady trend and then a breakout to make a new peak. So you can see here you've got that steady trend, and potentially now we're looking at a 6 to 8 week breakout towards this target up here. So that is possible. And you could definitely target this level for a short to medium term trade. So overall, SoundHound AI is looking bullish. It does look as if it wants to move higher, and there's a trade opportunity here in the next few weeks targeting that $25 level. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you going to trade this stock? Perhaps you're holding it long term. It's a great stock to hold and has got high growth potentials. Thanks for watching.